Hello everybody, it is Mike Levin, Poconos Pythonista, and previously Mike Levin, SEO in New York City. I am now, however, living in the mountains in the Poconos, and I am coming back from Miss Gwen's Fish and Chips here off of Route 209, which I discovered with Nat the other day, and it is a delightful treat. It is really nice to be able to get good fish and chips here in the mountains. And so my kid's here for the weekend, and I was like, hey, everyone want fish and chips? They're like, yeah. And so I'm on my way back from that ride, and I'm pretty pleased with myself. I come also bearing carrot cake and two of their homemade drinks, a lemonade and a passion punch called a Brooklyn, or something, a fruit punch called a Brooklyn. So let's see, I'll be home in a jiffy, but I've been shooting these videos so easily that I figured I'd capture a few more, although I have lost a few subscribers. I think the direction I'm going of doing these long videos, because of the back and forth drive I have a couple times a week, is not appealing to people, or maybe it's the subject matter, or maybe it's my demeanor, who knows. But anyway, that was just -5. You can't take this Google Analytics stuff, not Google Analytics, but it's YouTube Analytics stuff, to heart too much, because there's always going to be ebb and flow, and there's always going to be people who like you, and there's always going to be people who dislike you. And because there's so much published and it goes on at such a fast pace, that if you can manage to net more people subscribing to you than not subscribing to you, then, you know, statistically a vote is being cast that what you're talking about is of interest. And apparently what I'm talking about is of interest to about 10,000 people who can bear with me and endure the burden of my rambling ways, default phone video with crappy lighting on nighttime drives, and really just navigating life, you know, altering my identity, just snip, edit, and, you know, I'm no longer Mike Levin, SEO from the NYC, to now more closer to my Pennsylvania roots, Mike Levin. And I'm in the Poconos, and my focus is really so much on Python these days, so why not go with Pythonista? So Mike Levin, Poconos Pythonista. It still doesn't fully flow all that well off the tongue. I need to work on it, I'll tweak it a little bit. But I do like the regional pronunciation of my last name, Levin. I did not like it growing up because I'm very hyper-literal, and when you're hyper-literal, you want things to be phonetic, and, you know, Levin is Levin to most eyes. And that's what it is in New York City, because they can't go around pretentiously correcting each other. And I learned very late in life that the Philadelphia regional pronunciation of Levin is pretentious, that it comes off as very pretentious to the New York ear, and hence when I say it from time to time, I can't help but, you know, putting that intonation on it, like Keeping Up Appearances. It's bouquet. Mrs. Bucket, I've got a delivery for Mrs. Bucket. It's bouquet. So, you know, it was an interesting, enlightening thing when I learned that Mike Levin, you know, I didn't emphasize it in such a way that it, you know, comes off as that way. Although I know I've come off as pretentious to people from time to time in my life. You know, the mystery why people don't like me. Oh, well, you know, he's starting out with our group already having his, you know, yellow stripe, white belt yellow stripe, because he, you know, did this before And that lost me a friendship in karate at 13 years old. We all or it might have been 16 years old. I did it the first time when I was 13. I rejoined karate with a group of friends when I was 16. Particularly a few high school friends that one has since turned out to be one of the weirdest stories of people who I knew growing up, and the other one that turned out to be one of the most endearing friends who I actually was delighted to see at my 30th high school reunion the other year, and have kept in touch with happily through Facebook all the time leading up to that. It was great to see him in person, and all the time since. I would consider the kind of lifetime friend where you can immediately pick off where you left off, because you're such sympathetic? Is it sympathetic vibrations? Copathetic vibrations. You vibe well together. It's two natures that just go really, well together. And he was my roughhousing friend growing up, Guy Brookstein, who I saw at my 30th reunion, and was one of the great reasons I was even there. And he's always on my mind. If you're listening to this guy, I'm almost never not thinking of you, because my daughter is a rough and tumble kid. She likes wrestling, and she likes being thrown into a beanbag chair, or a foof as we call it. And real snowball fighter. We got our igloo building and our snowball fight in today, so I have my winter snowstorm of 2021 experience in with my kid. That was I'm glad that happened tonight, and the rest of the weekend it can be all indoors for as much as we all care, because she's just going to be sledding again later on. So I'm going to let it be cozy hot chocolate and stuff from here on out. And so promoting that cozy serotonin feeling is the mission of tonight's ride, to get fish and chips from this just wonderful place, Miss Gwen's Fish and Chips. And anyone in the Poconos, Shawnee Mountain region looking for a different thing to eat from a place that's open a decent amount late, 8 o'clock on a Saturday night, under the conditions such as they are, it's every place that's really embracing this as an opportunity. God bless them for being there for us. It can bring a little bit of a special feeling that, who knows, could set in as a tradition. Let's have a fish and chips night. I have at least 2 dinners each time she's over I'm responsible for, and I like to do something a little different, a little special, also a little, comforting. Comfort food is important. So a little of this, a little of that, introduce a new thing, hope a new comfort food sets in, because you can do a lot worse than to have fish and chips as a comfort food. So I'm off to start the first verse of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, the whiting, what is that? That's the lobster quadrille. I am about to conduct the lobster quadrille to my 2 girls as I dish out 3 servings of fried whiting, said the whiting to the snail. Oh yeah, I can taste it already. Thanks for joining me. Hope to see you again soon, and don't forget to subscribe.